Time now for sports on SSPTV News.
We moved Dave Day to Thursday this week, and Dave, that was because of the PSU AC playoffs, and we'll get to that in just a moment, but let's start with the Standard Speaker sports editor talking about the Schuylkill League playoffs. The Marion boys, Dave, had a tall task going up against Blue Mountain. Blue Mountain, I read in the article in the Standard Speaker, played some great defense, held Brandon Muhammad in check for Marion, who I also read left the game with an injury. So Marion does not make it to the Schuylkill League championship, but District 11 AA tournament coming up, Dave. They will be in their Shenandoah Valley. I saw in the power rankings. I have no idea how they work with all those crazy numbers in District 11, but it looks like Shenandoah Valley is just ahead of them at the #1 seed, then Marion and then Monoy area. All these teams have beat each other during the season. So for me, I have a big question mark in the bracket. You're much better than me at this. What do you think going into everything? And do I have the district rankings right there?
You have the district rankings right. I won't try to explain them. All I know is it looks like Marion will be playing Monoy area in the semifinal. Shenandoah Valley will await the winner of Moravian Academy and Williams Valley. So it's a good chance that we're going to see some rematches either between Shenandoah Valley and Marion. Definitely Marion and Monoy area. For the Colts, they just got to forget about that game last night. Got away from them early. You put that in the rearview mirror, and then you look forward to the district playoffs because you're playing a team that more teams you're familiar with, and then when you get into the playoffs, anything can happen, and you got a second chance to make a tone.
And Dave, if you looked at the Schuylkill League Division III race like a horse race, or even these three teams, I think at times you were looking and you said, all right, Marion's ahead, and then you'd see Shenandoah, and they came on strong, and then Monoy, I think, beat Marion right at the end of the season there, and I don't want to say forgot about them, but you thought, okay, maybe they're the #3 there, and these teams have just been bouncing back and forth all year.
Yeah, Monoy area had they started the season something like 7 or 8-0, and then they had a real bad stretch where they lost 7 of 8 games, but they finished really strong. You go into momentum, go into the playoffs with a lot of momentum on a big high. It's got to help the Bears. Then again, now you have a layoff. Does that stall your momentum a little bit? Marion's played now in the league playoffs, so they were practicing, getting ready for league playoffs, but also they're going to have a little layoff until I believe next Tuesday. Shenandoah Valley, another layoff, but a team that last year made a nice run into to the district final and into the state playoffs. They won a few games, so they have some experience too, and it's going to make for some exciting times among the local basketball scene.
Speaking of exciting times, Dave, you were at Huey McGeehan Gymnasium when the Hazleton area Cougars won Division I of the Wyoming Valley Conference. We're also at that great Crestwood game. Coach Joseph brought out his seniors. He really showcased them in that game against Pittston area. What did you see on the floor as the Cougars wrapped up their title?
I just saw a lot of people that they finally got a chance to play as starters too, and they worked just as hard as the other starters. They went out there and they did their job, got the lead for the Cougars, and by the time they turned it over to the talented junior class or something, the juniors just picked up where they left off and do what they do. They stretched the lead and got points in bunches, and it was another win going away for the Cougars on their way to the Division I championship.
And now let's get to those Penn State University Athletic Conference playoffs. The Penn State Hazleton women, they win in the first round at home against Penn State Du Bois. They'll get to the semifinal round. It's a rematch of last year's championship game, Penn State Hazleton against Penn State Beaver. Steve Stallone had the coverage in the Standard Speaker of the first round game. And his lead, Dave, was all about chemistry with this team. And when I did my feature story on them, it seemed like that. They're very close. They don't have the size, so they really have to work together as a team, use their speed. But just because they don't have size doesn't mean they don't have talent. There's some really good players on that team.
The talent and experience too. These girls went through a lot. I shouldn't say girls, young ladies. They went through a lot last year to get to the final. They've played together now for a few years. They feed off one another, as all good teams do. They beat a good Du Bois team for the second time this season. Now they get another shot at Penn State Beaver, and something tells me that our Lady Lions here want another chance at Penn State Beaver.
Hazleton area Lady Cougars swimming, Dave, Megan Llewellyn got her 1,000th point against Holy Redeemer. We're going to have some coverage coming up on the Lady Cougars and Cougars on SSP TV News, and also in local swimming, Marion, Dave. They're just they really showed up at that Schuylkill League meet. Danny Berlitz, I think, had the 2 fastest times in the state, I read, for AA in his 2 events, so that's impressive. And I'm not a big swimming guy, don't know, a ton about it. I didn't even get my swimming merit badge in Boy Scouts, Dave, but that's probably pretty good when you're posting the 2 best times in the state when you're getting ready for district.
No doubt about it. And when you're only a sophomore and you really don't have, you're not on a team per se, but you're doing a lot of competitive swimming during the off season, and as part of the small Marion group, they get to swim with Tamaqua. And in the Schuylkill League, they get to compete in those meets. And when Danny Berlitz, the lights go on, Danny Berlitz he's been a top-notch performer now for 2 seasons, and his best days are still ahead of him. And don't forget about Katie Krasinski, who's done very, very well too at the local and the league and on the district level, and she's going to be probably headed back to states too. So she's another one, and Angelina Krupko, another talented swimmer. There are a lot of talented swimmers there at Marion.
And there's so much going on in the area right now, getting ready for wrestling regionals, Dave, district playoffs in basketball, so much more. And you can follow it all in the Standard Speaker and right here on SSP TV News.